Hi, this is John Hoffs, and this is the last day of March, and we are embarking upon uncharted territories with the entire month of April on lockdown. How are we coping with this? What does it mean to us at this point in history and in our own histories? I can just say how it affects me. It seems a tall order to go through an entire month and quite conceivably more entire months. The difficulty is the isolation if you live alone like me. The issue is, how do you get through each day and spare yourself the anxiety, the loneliness, which you really can't avoid, and the despair, which can set into anyone. I feel for those people. I think they're being neglected. I think there's many people who are having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and they're sleeping the days away. And I feel like those people are not really given the help that they need, even by their family and friends. Some of us are lucky to be able to have the resilience to get through this long quarantine. But we all know that we have to. We have no choice. And so I've sort of tried to look at April as not a month that's comprised of 31 days, each having 24 hours. I use the Al-Anon philosophy and the AA philosophy of one day at a time. If you thought you had to go through a whole month or even more of this, it might seem intolerable. But if you could look at going through it one day at a time, that this seems much more manageable. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm actually not going to start my practice, which I'll tell you about in a minute, until tomorrow, which will be the 1st of April. Then I'll have a clean slate to start April, and to live April as mindfully as I can, as much in the present moment as I can. You know, it's funny, I don't know about you, any of you, but for me, the days are going by faster. I thought they would go slower. I thought they would be interminable. Yes, they're boring. Yes, they're lonely. Yes, they're odd, even. But what can we do? They are the reality, and we can't deny the situation with the coronavirus. I had a thought which I haven't heard on the news, although it maybe have been on the news or in the intellectual journals. What's unique about this virus is not only how easily we can catch the virus, even though the odds are still very high, but if we are unlucky enough or foolish enough to be exposed to a carrier and develop as a carrier, who then may or may not show symptoms. Once that happens, we are also potentially a killer. We are a killer if we go out, even if we don't know if we're infected, and infect an elderly person with existing conditions or a younger person with existing conditions, or even just the random, seemingly normal, healthy young person who gets a very, very bad case of the disease. So I think that the specter of not only that we could get it and that we could die is there, but also the specter that we can get it and we could give it to somebody else and that we could kill. And I say that with all soberness, with all sadness. You know, I think these are sad times. I think that's just true. But I believe that if you live in the present moment, you can be sad and look at the sadness, hold up the sadness, look at it like a precious jewel, and then put it down. Or have a dark thought and put it into the proverbial river and let that thought float down the river with all of the other thoughts that you have. Because nothing lasts. I've heard in another context that life is short. And somehow being frozen in time like we all are, there's a keener sense of the time. What time is it? What time is it is an often asked question. As if there was something awaiting in that time that would relieve the misery. But I would like to look at April as if there were no days of the week, no hours of the day, only the dark and the light, and where I could be aware of every moment, every second, be aware without judging, because this is it. This present moment is it. And it is an illustration of the rightness of everything that is, even the things that we would normally consider bad. This pandemic was just part of nature. We are just part of nature. Everything is always new, and everything old passes away. But in this moment, we are fully alive, we are fully aware, and we can experience ourselves in a way that we haven't before. We can get to know ourselves better. We have moments of doubt, we have moments of self-recrimination, but we also have moments of elation, of delight, of pleasure with the pain. And so I ask you to just think about living in the present moment, the present now. Because in each now, everything is okay just the way it is, even when it's not. And it'll be okay tomorrow and the next day. And it'll be okay 6 months from now and 10 years from now. And I hope to share those times with you, if only for a few minutes, talking on a video. Take care. Bye-bye.